Hey guys, it's Miss Hale. I am currently in New York City, so I'm not going to be here today or tomorrow. And you're going to be working on this kind of rotation, I guess, or it's really just notes and practice today and tomorrow. So we're going to do these notes together. We're going to do 6 examples. So you need to fold your paper into 6 pieces. So fold it hot dog style and then into thirds. And then when you open it up, you'll have 6 boxes. If you don't want to fold it, that's fine. Just divide it into 6 pieces because we're going to do 6 problems together. And then on the back of there, you can show your work for your edge elastic practice. That's going to go in the grade book, and the Go Formative, that's going to be kind of just there to help you practice over the next 2 days. So we are not really trying something new. We're just adding something to what we've already done. We started the year with Unit 1, and we did adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing rational numbers, but just straightforward problems. Now we're going to do more real-world problems. So the first example we have is Taylor had a balance of negative $24.55 in her bank account. She needed to make a deposit so she could reach the bank's minimum balance requirement of $50. How much does she need to deposit? So what we're going to do for this is we're going to think about it like this. We know that she has negative $24.55. We know she needs $50, and here's 0. So we need to figure out how to get from here to here. If you remember from the first unit, this is kind of one of those absolute value problems. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with 50, and we're going to subtract the negative 24.55 so that you can see that, remember, when we have this subtracting a negative, we can rewrite this as 50 plus 24.55, which will then mean she needs to deposit $74.55 into her bank account in order to reach that $50 balance. This is why when we started this, we talked so much about a number line, because modeling it on a number line helps us make sense of why we subtract a negative and why we turn that into adding a positive, because we're really going from negative 24.55 to 0 and then from 0 to 50. All right, so now here's our second example. We are going to do another kind of bank account balance. It says Annie had a balance of $45.55 and she spent $70.85. What was the balance in her account? So we're going to start with the $45.50 that she had in her bank account. And when you're spending money, that means you're taking it out of your bank account. So we're going to use subtraction. So notice when I wrote this, do you have more positive values or more negative values? And you have more negatives. So we know at the very end of this, our answer is going to be something negative because we know we have more negatives. And I have been telling you guys as we've been reviewing this, I would set this up over to the side and do my subtraction over here, line up all my decimal places because you cannot use a calculator for this. And I would do my subtraction here so that you don't make any of those careless errors. And you have all of everything lined up. So when we do our subtraction, we get $25.30. But remember, like I had said, it's not really $25.30. It's a negative $25.30 because she spent more money than she had in her account. Okay, so here is our third example. This one is about a submarine, so we're kind of changing gears here. It says a submarine is navigating at a depth of 35 1/3 kilometers. And if we think about a submarine, here's the water, right? 0 is sea level. If it's navigating at 35 1/3 kilometers, that's below sea level. So we're going to use a negative to represent that 35 1/3. And then it says it ascends 9 5/6 kilometers into the ocean. That means ascend means to increase or go up. So we are going to have a positive 9 5/6. So going back to what we said before on that previous problem, we have opposite signs. We have negatives and we have positives. We have more negative values than we have positives. So we're going to have a negative as our final answer of the new depth. So once again, I would set kind of my subtraction up to the side, but first I'm going to have some common denominators. So I'm going to turn this into 2/6 plus 9 5/6. But like I said before, I'm subtracting. So I'm going to do my subtraction over here to the side. 35 2/6, take away 9 5/6. And now we can't take 2/6 and 5/6 and get a positive value. So I'm going to actually turn this into 34 and take one whole and add it to this. So this is really going to be 8/6. So 8/6 take away 5/6 is 3/6. And 34 take away 9 is 25. So we'd get negative 25 and 3/6. And we can even simplify that to negative 25 and 1/2 kilometers. All right, here's our next example, another kind of up or down situation with a seagull. So the seagull is flying at an elevation of 12 3/4 feet above sea level. So here's our above sea level. And then it descends 17 1/6 feet. So like before, ascend meant to go up, descend means to go down. So we are going to model this as a negative. So 12 3/4 subtract 17 1/6. So like I did before, I'm going to create a common denominator. 12 3/4 is going to become 12 9/12. Subtract 17 2/12. And then like I did before, I'd set my subtraction up over here to the side just so that I don't make any errors in my subtraction. I just want to make sure that I line up all of the things that I need. So once again, I can't take 2/12 and 9/12 and get a positive. I'm going to end up with a negative, and I don't really want to work with negatives on top of negatives. So I'm going to turn this into 16. I'm going to turn this into 14/12 because I really just took one whole from here and I added it to this fraction to make my subtraction easier. So 14/12 minus 9/12 would be 5/12. 16 minus 12 would be 4. So we end up here with 4 5/12. Now, did you catch what I forgot to do that I did in the previous problems? Look back at the problem. 12 3/4 minus 17 1/6. Do I have more positive values or more negative values? Should my answer be positive or should my answer be negative? In this case, we had more negatives, so now we know that the seagull has dove into the water to catch this fish. So negative 4 5/12 feet, or 4 5/12 feet below sea level. All right, now we're going to kind of change gears. The ones we did previously were a lot of adding and subtracting, and we're going to get into the multiplying and the dividing for our rational numbers in a word problem. So it says profits at Carla's craft shop decreased, which means went down. So we're going to represent that as a negative, by $1,015.28 in 1 week. What was the average change in profit per day? So in 1 week, we know there are 7 days. So we're going to take this number and we're going to divide it by those 7 days. So if we think back to our rules, we have one positive value and one negative, which is an odd number of negatives. So we know that at the end of this, we're going to have a negative value. It's decreasing by a certain amount of money each day of the week. So whatever our answer is going to be has to be negative. So when we do our dividing, we can set up our long division, like I said, over to the side so that we don't make any mistakes. We don't need to move any decimals out here, so we can just kind of place our decimal here. We know 7 goes into 10 once. We can subtract, and we'll have 3 remaining. And 7 goes into 31 4 times, which would be 28. Again, we have 3 remaining. This time we have a 35. 7 goes into 35 perfectly 5 times. So this time we have no remainders. And if you check this out, we know 7 goes into 28 4 times. So we actually get 0 for the 2 and 4 over the 8 because 7 goes into 28 4 times. So when we do our division, it divides perfectly with no remainders for $145.04 each day. It is decreasing by that value each day. You could go back and double check this by doing 7 times 145.04, and if you got 1,015.28, then you know that you're good to go and you got the right answer. Always kind of try that where you divide or multiply to check your answers. All right, last one. This one is talking about the temperature. It changes by 3.2 degrees every hour for 4 hours. So that means we are going to multiply. Negative 3.2 multiplied by 4. We have one negative, like I said before, so we know our answer is going to be negative. Negative 12.8 degrees. to be exact. This one was pretty straightforward, just multiply